No? All right. In that case, we can head on into our presentation for this morning. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Malcolm Adams. He's joining us here from Avid Solutions International. And Malcolm will be speaking about intelligent precision agriculture powered by AI, IoT, and robotics to transform specialty crop farming. So, Dr. Adams, I will pass it over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me today. And thanks again, Dan, uh, for your patience.
Of course, no problem.
All right. Do I need to share my screen, or did you have
Uh,
the?
if you can share your screen, that's great. If
I'll
you
do that.
prefer. Okay, perfect.
Lunch. Share my screen. There we go. Can everybody see my screen?
You're all set. And
Okay.
just before you get started, sorry, I'll just remind everybody, please keep your mics on mute during the presentation. If I see anything come through, I'm going to do my best to click that button to turn you off. So thanks, we appreciate it. All right, go ahead.
As Dan stated, I am Malcolm Adams. I'm the founder and CEO of Avid Solutions International. We are a startup essentially in the ag tech space with a focus on agrobotics. Specialty crop farmers, as the problem, have been battling some threats that people haven't been able to see for quite a while. Soil nutrient depletion in the US specifically. A lot of people remember the bees disappearing and the butterflies disappearing, but they don't talk about the fact that the worms disappeared, and that's along with other livestock beneath the soil. That's why we don't have the nutrient-rich soil that we once had, along with a bunch of other factors, you know, issues that we create with things that are not climate friendly and environmentally friendly. We need to engage in more conservation practices, so on and so forth. Water inefficiency, um, high input costs, especially now, and technology adoption gaps between people who are, well, there's a gap between, the generations of actually farming here, but there's the issue of knocking the new off when technology comes into play with farmers and producers here. So we focus on four things. It's robotic sensing, IoT sensors, AI decision engines, smart irrigation control, and data intelligence Dashboards. Everybody's system isn't the same. Everybody isn't growing the same thing. Everybody isn't in the same climate zone. So that data intelligence is a very key element of the work that needs to be done. HydroVision is the product where we have patents pending. Uh, I was working between a technical service provider program exercise, helping a farmer in an urban area, as well as helping one in a vertical grow in a rural area that is they're growing in a building. And I noticed that the problem, they had the same exact problem. There was a nutrient delivery problem, and water management was horrendous. So I started working on a device, and it got some people's attention. They got me in touch with an institution up north, which is how I actually found out about the AgRobotics Working Group a couple of years ago. And we went through the National Science Foundation program, and here we are with AgRobotics, excuse me. Um, we do have some documented wins. We managed to help them save half of the water. They were wasting water, so it's not like we saved 58% of the water that was needed. We helped them save 58% of the water that was used because they only need around really, I'd say they needed about 32% of the water that they were using. And that's just being realistic. Um, we helped improve yields by 23%, helped prevent 30% of the losses. There was a lot of food waste because they were drowning some of the product. And then we were able to interview 32 different farmers. We're actually going through to interview another 100 this year, which is going to be fun. So if anyone there is cool with a pilot or being interviewed for research purposes, we'd love to connect. We did these interviews and pilot while we two pilots actually while we were in the NSF program, and this was before they even sent us to San Antonio. Um, like I said earlier, knocking the new off, keeping it as simple as possible. Um, we can't do this without doing that. So being minimal and even not leaving information out, especially things that are vital, but being minimal in the approach to, instructions and education and just the system itself. Everything just kind of has to be as plug and play as possible. So there's a lot of automation, especially with the workflows. Um, Soil and water equal one problem. Um, We have a lot of chemical misuse, which is a hidden risk. A lot of producers here don't know what chemicals being used close to their property, by another farm or another producer, the issues that can cause, like with what they might be growing. We had an issue where we had a hemp producer who was within a 5 mile range of producer who used dicamba in a very windy area, and that's why their product was testing hot, is what we call it. They couldn't use it for the use case in particular because of the issue caused by that dicamba. And then, of course, there's program awareness gaps. We have a lot of farmers in the U.S. that don't get the benefits of the programming that exists or the assistance that does exist because they're not even registered within the USDA system. They don't trust the government. They never end with well enough reason, and they don't. It's understandable, and they don't, like to just sign paperwork because one of the main things we found that they were worried about is their property being taken for eminent domain reasons or whatever, and that's really not how it works. But I've seen some horror stories from uh 50, 60 years ago where people did actually sign something over to somebody who happened to be a lobbyist, and it was kind of a big deal. But we have ways of abating that hazard now. and a lot more regulation. Um, we have a few different models and a few different methodologies. The it's pretty layered. Everything has to be sensed essentially. So even from the drones, we use them for mapping moisture, uh, detecting chemical use, and things like that, especially if we're covering a lot of ground. Um, we are an IBM partner, and in the spirit of keeping the partnership healthy, we do integrate with a few of their technologies. And then I created a foundational model that NVIDIA liked, and they kind of brought us into their program and gave us a few blessings there. Our the revenue streams would be like the manufacturing of the hardware and selling of it. There's a subscription analytics. We do offer maintenance and support, of course, because it is a new technology. The IP licensing, it's not something that I'm looking to hold on to necessarily because I have a lot of other things that I built. And the NRCS USDA channel, there's only 1,400 technical service providers, but those technical service providers are contractors outside of natural resource and conservation services. So we're able to offer through this programming to all of the farmers that are actually using the TSPs, and there is a lot of them, but uh, it's about a $700 million issue with there only being 1,400. So the automation and stuff is really kind of an incentive in itself. Um, as far as go to market, we have the two softwares that I already published in partnership with IBM that work with the AgRobotics system. Let's see. And then as far as market opportunity, we're looking to penetrate a little later this year, as you know, with a sprint, because as you can see, like we are in trouble. I mean, we not to be a doomsayer, but we might run out of food here by 2050, and have a real Mad Max situation on our hands if we don't get things turned around. But I am excited. We have had a lot of wins. And of course, when there's, big problems and a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of opportunity. So, at the same time, we want to help as many people as possible. We're definitely taking advantage of it, from a business perspective. Our roadmap is we already did complete our IBM certifications. We did launch our pilot program. We're looking at seed funding. The dates are actually wrong. We started it at the back end of last year. So this would go up until about September of this year instead of the 2025. Sorry about that. And we do have some investment opportunities. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. And that is the end of the presentation. Anybody have any questions?
Good presentation, Malcolm. Can you give us your bio a little bit? You kind of skated over it pretty quickly, but how the heck did you end up here?
I apologize. I do that all the time. I really don't like talking about myself. Um, I had a non-traditional pathway. Uh, worked more than anything else. Got a couple of honoruses. I'm actually working with Penn State, Cornell, Virginia State University and a few others around the invention itself. I did just offer some of the IP because I want to do the National Innovation Core program with the National Science Foundation. So I did have to take the route of like sharing uh, ownership of the IP with an academic institution. And it's been it's been a heavy like learning curve for me because I'm used to just being in a lab by myself, at a computer by myself, and making things. And it was brought to my attention in a very painful way that, hey man, you're sitting on, you know, a gold mine essentially. So different, figures here and there, even in policy, I did some policy work and they just kind of not collectively because they all don't know each other, but started bringing me out of my shell. And I got introduced to the working group from there. Um, I have really good, people around me, really good teams. Um, I put a book out on AI and ag tech uh, year and a half ago, and that got a lot of attention. Um, Not from a sales perspective, but from a, hey, this guy might know what he's talking about perspective. And then they found out that I actually built things that worked. And I did make the mistake of giving stuff away just like I was making things just to help people. And they're like, no, this, I know you're focused on just like tech, but you're actually a startup in agribusiness. And I was like, oh, so they helped me structure things. And taught me the things I didn't know, facilitate where I have no idea what's going on, and been engaging with Dan and some other folks from the group for a couple of years now.
And so your background's in engineering and
Yes. Yeah, I'm a systems engineer
okay.
and economics. So systems
Okay.
engineering and economics are my primary background. But I grew up around agriculture and horticulture. My great grandfathers were, one was an urban farmer, the other one basically he didn't take care of every yard in town, but he kept a lot of grounds,
Hmm.
especially the churches and stuff like that. My mom got into it when she got out of the military. I was the work team. Just me by myself. It was supposed to be more people, but it ended up just being us. And I've always kept my hands in the soil at some point. So, COVID, right around that time that peaked, I went to Hawaii to help out with some of the agribusiness there and agricultural producers. And that's when I first started seeing the problem with the soil. I've been mainly southeast, so I wasn't aware of, I was aware of the issues with the soil health here, but I didn't know, you don't know what you can't see, and I wasn't aware. And when I got there and I saw the issues they were having, because you have places where the fruit will just grow in somebody's backyard, but when they're trying to produce a particular thing, I'll share the link in the chat there. Peter, I think your name is. Um, it was alarming, and people were just like walking away from the projects. Plus there was an issue with not being able to get out and go anywhere for people who didn't have essential work purposes. So it was a very cool experience to be able to actually live in Hawaii for a while and do some work around a different agricultural production that was going on. I even got to work at a shrimp farm for a little bit. It was interesting.
Okay.
Got to eat all the shrimp I wanted too. So
So so the other question I have for you is you talked about a bunch of different revenue streams and models. Do you have sales with actual farmers, or are you
Not
just
for
still
HydroVision yet. We
still
haven't we
pre-revenue?
haven't we haven't sold a unit there, but we sold a few licenses for the software.
Okay,
Yeah.
so pre-revenue. So you're in a
Mhm.
really tough stage of your company, because kind of until
It's
you get proof of concept, until you really get it's hard for investors. I'm an investor. It's hard for investors to jump in. So I'm just trying to support you a
well,
little bit with some
that's the thing.
feedback. And
It's a curious position we're in now because we do have, 130-year-old tech company as a partner that's about to sell the licenses to two of the products. Verdanta IQ and GoPulse.io are both on IBM's marketplace. We just provided a seller deck for
perfect.
their sellers.
Excellent.
Uh, I have one change to make to one of the decks. They asked me to map the pricing and features differently, and I'm going to take care of that today. But they're actually going to publish this to their seismic platform where their sellers go train, and they're going to be involving us in a lot of their. It's actually we have a direct embedded solution contract with IBM for Vedanta IQ, even so. It's we're positioned well. I'm
Yeah.
just making sure that I'm taking the right steps, like doing the
Well,
right
what
thing
you're
at the
trying to do
right
is super
time.
hard, right?
Yeah, extremely
So
because it's bringing new tech from lab to market.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
it's killer. Yeah. So no, I wish you well and good job on this. And I'll let somebody else ask some questions.
thank you.
I'll pass it over to Rich. Rich, you had your hand up.
Might be on mute.
You're muted. Yeah. Sorry, not sure.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Technology, love it. Malcolm, your solutions at the beginning there, like the overwatering and stuff like that, that plays it's a lot of mis or uneducation, I guess, as far as what their crops need. And that does your program have any sort of an education aspect or whatever that can kind of go hand in hand
Yes,
with your product?
yes, and we actually back in 2021, which was like I said around the 2019, 2020 is when I started seeing the problem. I was able to work my way into doing some things about it. Back in 2021, I was able to put some standards together for training around this, and they actually got approved and adopted by the U.S. Department of Labor. So I just put that bulletin that they put out in the chat as well. So it was around the actual farm workers and grow technicians, the logistics aspect, as far as like, post-production, making sure things got where they needed to go. Food safety is ingested in the storage and distribution management. I myself don't teach food safety, so I had to bring in somebody to do the related training instruction for that. But that curriculum has all been approved as well. Um, as far as anything on the tech side, my nonprofit career academy is also a CompTIA partner, and they're just like the industry standard for anything regarding computer related training. And then there's a couple of healthcare things that we went into because of at the end, the distribution end user, we have like farm to table and people that actually receive the food in the healthcare industry, like people have to eat in the hospitals and nursing homes and things like that. And there just weren't people being trained at the time in these specific things. We have a lot more programming now as far as career and technical education, but all of that uh, training is ingested into the program.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you, Rich. And Michelle.
Yes, good morning. I'm going to appear. It's going to be more easier for everyone. Thank you, Adam. Malcolm, for the presentation. It's always good to know that, we try to do the best for our producers. And so I was wondering, you came to us to talk to mostly Canadian community. So what are you doing in terms of the adaptation for the Canadian producers? Because again, based on our experience, I come from a policy group in Canada. We have worked with Penn State, Penn University. We have worked with other universities in the state, and unfortunately, all their models don't work in Canada. So we had to shut the project. Sorry. So what are you doing within your organization? I don't know. You didn't describe your team, so I don't know what kind of capabilities you have or what kind of knowledge you have. But I would be interested to know.
We're doing research right now because you don't just want to go into an environment with something to just plug it in and expect it to work. That's probably a part of what happened prior, but we do have, like, for instance, our geologist is Dr. Bradley Dorn. He was over the NASA Harvest program. He's actually teaching at Penn State now, and so he's anything geology related, that's him. We have an environmental chemist, Sade Brown, Dr. Sade Brown, PhD. She's at Colorado Tech. Everybody's kind of, we're working remotely some for the most of it, but our focus area right now, as far as Canada, is the Ottawa. Everything that because I didn't know anything about Canada really until I got into this working group. So just where we hear producers are. We're looking at those areas, looking at the soil science there, whatever data we can find. And when we're able to finally come up and put some boots on the ground, we'll have like that real footing and understanding of what will work there versus just trying to push a product. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
really want to spend a lot of time on any of the oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Peter. Any of uh the business aspect. I mainly want to find out the exact problems and solve them there because it's not the same climate. It's colder. There's a lot of things that
Exactly.
come into play. So that's where we are right now. We're still in the science aspect of it and understanding the environment.
Perfect.
Water
Perfect.
management, we've got millions of acres under irrigation in Western Canada and Alberta. The specialty crops, a lot of irrigation here in the east as well. So I think some of your tools, we'll have to keep an eye on them, and if you need some support, just let us know. Let us know how we can help because I think the needs are the same, and Southern Ontario's the same. It's as far north as Northern California, so we're. You may think we're up in the Arctic, but we get a lot of heat here too.
I was curious, Malcolm, like in your presentation, you didn't go into like show us any examples of actual products. You talked kind of theoretically about some of your products, but I didn't actually really see what do you actually do as a company. Is it just
Oh,
strictly research,
outside
or
of
like, I didn't actually
we
see
are,
like an example of what your product looks like.
yeah, we are an R&D firm, but I do have a couple of demos up and ready. Give me one sec. So here, let me share my screen. This is Verdana IQ. It's on the IBM Marketplace.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say we couldn't see your screen, but then it popped up as soon as I
Ah,
started looking. So
sorry about that.
no
But
problem.
this is how it works. There's monitoring, maintenance, there's predictive analysis, workflows, AI insights, and it definitely depends on what kind of system it's plugged into. Um, as I mentioned earlier about vermiculture, I that's kind of like my personal mission. I want to make us making sure that we have nutrient-rich soil a priority. Um, over the years. And I mean that's globally, not just in the US. Um, but we're able to monitor you know the primary levels and things, um, analysis, plant systems, quality, building workflows, seeing what workflows are used, creating new workflows. There are AI insights because of what's being received, the data that has been through the system already. Uh, yeah, I mean it's a pretty intensive product. Like we even have training within the product itself because again, there's a learning curve. I don't suggest that everybody in a company be the person that uses it. There's typically a situation where like we engage and then the person that's most technically inclined or that has some engineering experience of some kind or somebody that they might be working with can kind of hold their hand in the process. Like I said, knocking the new off is one of our biggest issues we face. Um, but yes, this is actually out, and then we also have this. Um, This is still in-house. It's not really on the market because the USDA is most interested in it for the technical service provider program to cut down on their conservation plans, soil health management plans, just the time it takes to put all that together. I came up with a AI platform. There's about four different agents in here that do the work. Um, but we're able to do everything from drawing maps to pulling data from web soil survey and data.gov. We have an API key for that. I'm pretty sure that there's something similar in Canada. Um, not to the product itself, but the the databases that exist with just for agriculture. I actually have a data scientist checking on all that stuff for me because I'm really just as far as bandwidth. I'm cooked. I don't really have a lot of free time to check on things. Once some of this stuff gets moving, I'm pretty sure I can free up a bit, but I'm between like high level business development and you know relationships, partnerships at the same time, making sure all the engineering is going well. But we do have a pitch deck for this one that I can share. I have to stop sharing my screen 1 second. And what was we had go pause, we didn't have IQ. And then HydroVision is actually in a system on a machine that's being done with NVIDIA's like hardware and Raspberry Pi. So I don't have that here to show you. Uh, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. I'm not the best at this, and I put the presentation together myself. And
We're very much a hands-on group, so we're used to like, you know what I mean? We're
gotcha.
really into like, what getting
Trying to
our
help you.
Yep, exactly. We're trying to help.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot. Nevin.
Yeah, Malcolm, thanks for the presentation. And yeah, similar question is Chuck in terms of what the product looks like and how it's deployed potentially with a customer. You glanced over quickly the fundraising that you're currently going into. Could I just ask, what the use of funds would be? I imagine that's to move the business forward. What kind of ideas do you have for this
I
concept?
We have all of that documented. It was put together. I had a couple of teammates help me put that part together because it's not something that I understood. But basically, equipment research, like go to market research, not just, we don't need any research as far as like building the technology. We did partner with Rodale Institute, so they're going to be kind of taking over the research aspect of it because that's where they focus is research organic practices. Um, so operating capital, um, marketing, uh, and let me see, I have it actually close by. Documents and budget justification. Sorry for the background. Here's one of the budgets, and I don't mind sharing this just for one of the programs in just a certain area. And this is all based on Rodale Institute's framework, but the funding, of course, like I said, operating capital, we need personnel, but manufacturing for sure. Um, I haven't decided between a contract manufacturer for part of it or just keeping everything in-house. Because I do want to own as much of the manufacturing as possible. It is my baby, but I'm not one of those people who will stay in their own, like, I'm not going to get in my own way about it. If we can get to market more, if it like mass produce more efficiently by working with someone else, another manufacturer, I'm totally fine with that. I even explained that to Cornell and Penn State. Um, but these are kind of the things that the funding would go to. I don't know if everybody can see this or not. I can try to zoom more. Is that helpful?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah, thank you so much, Malcolm.
You're welcome.
And then I'll throw it over to Jason for probably the last question.
Okay.
Hey Malcolm, you mentioned once too, like when you were showing us that dashboard there, that it depends on the system that it's connected to, I guess like the data that you are able to collect and track. That dashboard there, was that connected to a live system or is that like simulated data? And if it is connected to an actual system, is the idea of it to be sensor and system agnostic?
It
Um,
is. So we're able to customize still. It doesn't work with everything. We do have a list of manufacturers.
Are you able to show us like an example of a system that it's connected to and like what kind of that network, like what
Not
sensors are
not
chosen
right
and
at the
how that
moment,
looks?
no.
Okay.
Not at the moment, but I can connect with you uh outside of today and get something set up to where we can get with somebody who is using it and show you what theirs would look like because everybody isn't worm farming. That's just kind of
Mhm.
a me thing at the moment. But
Mhm. It'd be
I'm
interesting to see
hoping.
how that system works though too, for sure. Like what information you're looking at, where the sensor is actually like placed in the soil or in the growing chamber, whatever it is for the worms. Those kinds of things would be really interesting to see.
Okay, yeah, I should. I'll definitely uh put some like video and stuff together.
Okay, cool. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
thank you for that. That's something that I should probably have. Like, I think it was Nevin or Chuck was saying. No, it was Chuck that was saying that about like seeing what's happening and being hands-on. I'll definitely going forward make sure that I have a lot more content of like what's happening. Sure, because I haven't done like a lot of documenting. Just mainly been working. Sorry.
Well, you know what? You know what, Malcolm, you're a really sharp guy, and you need to bring us along with you. So sometimes it's, showing some of that reality helps us to kind of meet you at the same level.
Give 100 of these presentations, you'll get pretty polished up. We're just trying to help
Thank you.
advance you.
No, I'll definitely that's one of the things. I did play sports, and I know that in order to get better at something you have to do it repeatedly. So I'm game for that for sure.
Your layup drill.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Malcolm, for your presentation. Everybody, thank you very much for your questions and engagement. We really appreciate that. We're coming up on the last 10 minutes here, so we'll just go through a couple of agenda items. So first off, next week, Wednesday to Friday, is the London Farm Show here at the Western Fair District. So definitely come check out the AgRobotics Working Group booth. Haggerty is going to have a booth right next to us as well. Um, we do have on March 4th, we've mentioned before, we do have an opportunity to give away a couple of small booths just for a single day presence at the farm show. Your booth would sort of be within the overall size of our booth. We have a few companies who are already on board. They're going to be joining in. If that is something that is you're interested in and would like to take advantage of, shoot an email to Ashley or to the working group email address, and we can definitely take a look and maybe set something up for having you join us just for the one day, but it would be free of charge. So can't go wrong with that. Um, Additionally, on Friday next week, the final day of the farm show, I've just posted the link was in the agenda and in the email, but I just posted in the chat as well. It is our in-person working group meeting. We're going to be having it at the London Farm Show. So I posted the link to the Eventbrite for registration is free. It's just to give us an idea of numbers. We're gonna have some refreshments and things in the morning. So we are excited to be able to host people again. Last year it was really successful. We got good feedback on it. So happy to be able to do that again. Um, if you are interested in speaking at one of these meetings, or there's someone you'd like to hear from or know of, please shoot an email to the AgRobotics Working Group, because we're always looking for new speakers to fill out our roster. So we'd be happy to be able to provide that opportunity. Um, After that, the following week is the Ottawa Valley Farm Show. And then also the Lambton Shores Agricultural Forum. And then coming up on the 26th is the Canadian AgRobotics and AI Summit. That is also still shaping up quite nicely. Joe or Chuck, I don't know if you have any comments on it for this week or any specific updates you'd like to tell the group about?
No, but I don't think so.
Perfect. That's all good. That just means everything's chugging along. Uh, so we've got some great speakers lined up for that. So definitely register for that as well if you haven't yet. I will also pop the link for that into the chat as well. There it is. Perfect. We got word of a new funding opportunity, the Harvest Business Accelerator. The link for information is in the agenda. The intake for that one closes on March 18th. So if that's something that you are interested in taking a look at, maybe you're able to apply for it, definitely check that out. The link for that is in the chat here as well. And then other than that, I don't have anything new, so I'll open it up to round table for our last 5 minutes here. Don't everybody speak at once.
Is Lisa Klimstra still on the call? Lisa? They awarded I don't know, out of their latest research some grants. I think Real Life Robotics, Cameron's group got one, and then I think Indro Robotics got another grant. So I think I don't know if it's still open, but touch base. Lisa's been really good at trying to get grants allocated to our group, as has Kane, as has OCI, as has everybody. So in those early stage companies, until you start hitting sales, the grants are pretty valuable. So
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe. All right.
Chuck,
Well,
did you want to let them know some of the new stuff that you're going to be demoing at the London Farm Show? I think you've got the first sharpshooter in town.
Yeah, so the Verdant sharpshooter unit, first one in Canada. We've got it's actually sitting in the other room here. We're going to bring that to the London Farm Show, and the initial results when I talk to the growers that are using them, they're seeing 90% chemical reduction. And alluding a little bit to some of Malcolm's points on yield gains, they have some very unofficial reports of yield enhancements due to the reduced chemical use, and which is similar to what we've seen from the laser weeding and other non-chemical approaches. So I think that's been be an interesting piece of tech. So we'll have that. We'll have that in London. That's probably the biggest piece of news, and as well as as well as everything else we've got there.
I think the other thing that was interesting was the farmer adoption of some of the robotic lawn cutting tech. That's a story that you might want to share.
It's interesting as an entry piece into robotics. On farm sites, an all-terrain robotic lawnmowers for working with the company called Cress, and we had several people just walk up and say, "Yep, I want 2 of those," and it's a neat entry point, and one of the goals that we're after is how do we get more robots on farms, and this is a way to get more robots on farms.
excellent. All right, we've just got a minute left. So on a little bit more of a personal note, you may or may not know if you were here last week. This is my final working group meeting. I'm going to be moving on from the Western Fair Association. So starting next week, Ashley is going to be taking over hosting these meetings. I just like to say thank you to everybody who I had the chance to meet, work with, interact with over the years. It's been a really great experience, and I appreciate my time here very much. So I wish this project, everybody's projects, the best of luck. I'll still be following along on, LinkedIn and social media, things like that, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So thanks everybody. I really appreciate it.